Welcome to PlayStation News, Rumours and Leaks. Let's take a look at what's been happening over the last few days in the world of gaming. Guys, be sure to hit that like and subscribe button, strap yourselves in, and let's get cracking. Rumours are rife that a PS5 Pro is coming next year. Tom Henderson claimed on Twitter that Sony was internally expecting the as of yet unannounced PS5 Pro specs to leak anytime around this month due to the distribution of development kits among third-party studios, and we have seen lots of speculated PS5 Pro internal specs over the last few weeks touted about on Twitter. This does tie in with previous reports made by Henderson about the PS5 Pro back in May, in which he goes on to say that dev kits will be sent to third-party companies within the next few months. The PS5 Pro has been rumoured for over a year now, although nothing officially has ever been revealed by Sony. Earlier in the year, it was reported that the PS5 Pro is currently codenamed as Project Trinity and will allegedly be released in November 2024, 1 year after the release of the PS5 Slim. In August, AMD insider Kepler claimed that the PS5 Pro's SoC will likely use the NP4 process node. Giant Bomb's Jeff Grubb has also weighed in on the ongoing PS5 Pro rumours, revealing that he's also heard that the as of yet unannounced console will be released late 2024 and will support Sony's own DLSS solution. Speaking on the latest episode of his Game Mess show, Grubb went on to say that PS5 Pro leak is almost certainly real based on what I've heard now, and obviously I'm not the only one out there saying that, but I can throw my confirm into the ring for everybody. The current specs are based on a range of possibilities, but they've not actually fully dialed that in yet. The big thing here, like the big feature that the system will support, is Sony's own proprietary DLSS-like solution, where they use their own machine learning to improve images so they can run things at a really high resolution and really high frame rate. They would include their own hardware in the PS5 Pro to do this. Jeff Grubb also goes on to say that that's where the hardware ray tracing acceleration comes into place. They will be able to do even more than just better hardware ray tracing. So yeah, this thing is probably happening. Sony hasn't announced any plans for a mid-cycle refresh for PS5 at this point, although it did release a new version of its flagship console last month in the shape of the PS5 Slim. I think many PS5 gamers will probably be thinking that a PS5 Pro is not really necessary right now, as we haven't really seen the PS5 base model going to full pelt on the PS5 games. There is still a lot more for the PS5 base model to do before we even start looking at the next version. However, for early adopters of technology, and I include myself in this bracket, as an early adopter of tech, I'd like to see a PS5 Pro, and I would be keen to get my hands on it. Surely the PS5 Pro will be able to run games at 4K 60 natively, right? Surely that's something that it should be able to do. This was the big thing heading into this generation. Can games run at 60 frames per second natively with 4K resolution? Can the Xbox X and the PS5 run games at 4K 60 FPS? Well, it hasn't really happened, has it really? I'm not talking about upscaling technology. I mean actually running games right out the box on native 4K 60 frames per second. So I think as an absolute minimum, the PS5 should be able to do that, as well as all the other bells and whistles like ray tracing, looking at illuminations, shadow and lighting technology. To be able to run all of this natively on the PS5 Pro, I think would be an absolute wonderful achievement at console level. So for me, a PS5 Pro model makes perfect sense, and I'm looking forward to hearing more about this as news breaks, I'm sure after the Christmas period. So we'll have a look at that, and stay tuned for more information on that. Moving on, Insomniac Games has reportedly been hacked by ransomware group Rhysida, who are threatening to release sensitive data on the Sony-owned Marvel's Spider-Man 2 developer. According to Cyber Daily, the group has provided proof of hack data that features an annotated screenshot from Marvel's Wolverine game, alongside artwork that could potentially confirm the appearance of another Marvel character or other characters within the upcoming title. In addition, it also reportedly features passport scans for employees at Insomniac Games, a personal document for the voice actor of Spider-Man. He is Yuri Lothenlal, and internal emails and confidential documents. So it looks like a big hack there by the ransomware group Rhysida at Insomniac Games. The ransomware group is hosting an auction for the stolen data, and they claim in this advert that they have that their price is 50 bitcoins, and they're threatening to publish the data online. So their ransomware group ad goes on to say, with just 7 days on the clock, seize the opportunity to bid online exclusively with unique and impressive data. Open your wallets and be ready to buy exclusive data. We sell only to one hand, no reselling. You will be the only owner. Marvel's Wolverine is currently in development for PS5 and is yet to attract a release date, but it has been suggested that the game won't make it out until at least after next year. So we're looking at what, maybe 2025? I hate it when stuff like this happens, especially on new and upcoming games that you really are looking forward to. So some of these big companies really need to sort out their internal security, especially at Sony. Isn't this like the third time this has happened to Sony, one of their studios? I'm sure it's happened multiple times before, but really these big companies need to sort out their security systems. But I guess for me, I'll probably keep off social media for a while, certainly off Twitter or X, especially about Wolverine. I don't want anything like that being spoiled. Anyway guys, let's move on. If you like the video so far or find the video interesting or informative, do me a favor, hit that like and subscribe button, and that really helps out the video a great deal. If you want to support me as a content creator, then consider becoming a channel member. I'll leave a link down below in the description on becoming a channel member. Be sure to check that out. Let's move on. If you love E3 like me, then I'm sorry to be the one to have to tell you this, that it's all over for E3. The Entertainment Software Association, or the ESR, has announced that E3 has officially been cancelled for good. Stanley Pierre-Louis, president of the ESA, commented that after more than 2 decades of hosting an event that has served as a central showcase for the US and global video game industry, we know the entire industry, players and creators alike, have a lot of passion for E3. We share that passion. We know it's difficult to say goodbye to such a beloved event, but it's the right thing to do given the new opportunities our industry has to reach fans and partners alike. E3 was first held back in 1995 and was an annual event held in LA where gaming companies would announce their upcoming slate of games, and was also host to numerous hardware reveals and showcases. One of the highlights was E3 press conferences, which would typically last over an hour and were packed with reveals and updates. Some of the biggest Sony announcements from the event include the announcement of the PS1 price point to undercut the Sega Saturn back in the days, the PS2 tech demos, they were pretty wild at the time, the notorious giant enemy crab at the 2006 press conference, and as well as the first look at the PS4 hardware design. However, thanks to COVID-19, many companies started jumping on board of the digital event bandwagon, and as such, E3 struggled to find a place. The event was set to run this summer for its physical event for the first time in 4 years, but plans with Reed Pop ultimately fell through and it was shelved in March. There was also hope that the show would be completely reinvented for 2025, but sadly that's no longer the case. In recent years, there have been a number of major events to take E3's place while it was on hiatus, including Jeff Keighley's Summer Game Fest and the Game Awards at the end of the year. So it's not as if we won't be getting these big reveals, it just won't be at E3. It's just going to be the replacement events such as the Summer Game Fest and perhaps the Game Awards. And also don't forget, during that E3 period in the summer, yes, Summer Game Fest is on throughout the whole summer, but we also have individual publishers doing their own events. Like Sony will do their own, Microsoft will do their own. They still take place, give or take, around when E3 is. Debatable, because Sony sometimes do move theirs, but we'll still get those events. They're just going to be online, which is a big shame, because you do miss that. You do miss that kind of engagement with big audiences there. The loss of E3 won't make much of a difference to those who favoured digital events, and especially those who are not old enough to remember the E3 as it was. But for myself, having grown up reading about and watching the E3 shows on the internet, it is the end of an era. The Metal Gear creator Hideo Kojima is one of many industry folk to respond to news that E3 has been cancelled for good. Kojima goes on to say, "The end of E3 is sad news, especially cherish the presentation of MGS2 in 2000. Already 23 years ago, I'll never forget the standing ovation I received at that time. Without E3, Japanese creators and titles would not have made it to the global stage to this extent. E3 brought together creators and industry figures from all over the world, transcending borders and races." Meanwhile, Cory Barlog, who worked on the God of War franchise, commented, "Was on the floor showing the demo of the very first God of War so many years ago and got to see how excited people were to play this new weird game starring the angry guy with chains. Truly changed my whole outlook." And Mike Mika of Digital Eclipse added, "At its peak, E3 was an event like a World's Fair, over the top, future facing, larger than life, enormous in scale and decadence, stadium sized parties with $25 million price tags. There's no place for it in today's world, and there's definitely never going to be anything like it again. It's really sad knowing that they will never get to see another E3 again. I will certainly cherish the memories of the PS4 reveal and the price reveal undercutting the Xbox One. It was a classic moment, not to mention Sony PlayStation demonstrating how to share games, their messaging about owning physical games and then being able to resell them, while Xbox had their always on and DRM systems. It was a classic E3. I'll also never forget the PS2 reveal, the reveal of Uncharted and The Last of Us 1 and 2. They're a personal favourite, along with the God of War 2018 game reveal. Some amazing memories. So a sad time, but you know, we need to look forward. This is the digital age, and I suppose we will get more digital content going forward and new showcases and events like the Summer Game Fest and Game Awards, and probably other future gaming events hosted by the publishers themselves. So that's going to do it for the video, guys. Thank you for watching. If you could do me a favour whilst you're here, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button, and I'll catch you on the next PlayStation news, rumours and leaks video.